Scott Bauer is joining us, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy from the floor of the CME. So Scott, seems like the best way to make money in this market is just short crude, go to sleep.
or just fade any rally, right? I mean,
yeah, that more specifically.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable because the bottom line is when you throw out any of the risk headlines, the demand is still not there and the supply is. So it's you know, I hate to dumb this down and talk about simple economics, but this really is a case of supply and demand.
So, Scott, to your point, it's really not selling it, it's selling the rallies, right? Because we still really haven't meaningfully broken far below like 53, 52 and a half.
Correct. But any pop that you've seen over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, obviously inclusive of the big rally we saw because of the attacks, on the Saudi tanker,
yep.
They've been a sale. And we talk about this all the time, Oliver. We talk about it with Tom White that, you respect the range. And until we see something break out of the range, you have to trade it. And crude has been in this range and has worked successfully for, the better part of the last quarter, if not longer than that.
So tell me how you do that as a trader, Scott, when there is such apparent bounds on a chart, right, that are largely adhered to apart from really unique events as you described. I mean, it seemed like the most compelling sign that this is limited to the upside when we couldn't have any follow through on the Saudi attack. So do you just simply buy it? Do you have some kind of straddle position, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's timely and it's taking advantage of on any rally, maybe selling a call spread. I never want to sell naked calls, so selling a call spread. And when the stuff, when oil comes back down, great, you buy a call spread or you sell a put spread if you're into just collecting premium. And I think that is the easiest and the safest way to play this range is by selling call spreads when we get to that upper end, selling put spreads when we get down to that lower end. At some point it will break out of that range, but if you've done that during the course of the trade of this range, you've done pretty well.
Yeah. Scott, it's also, I think, is important to note that given the fade after the Saudi attack, the escalating tensions in the Middle East, even as we have Turkey and Syria and all these things, nothing won specifically into oil-producing regions since the Saudi attack, right? The Saudi and Iran escalation seems to be on hold at the moment compared to what expectations were. But these events don't seem to be quite pack the same punch, right? To me, it almost looks like maybe some kind of type of trade resolution is really what might put a bid into crude. I mean, it had a couple nice days on Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. I agree, and it's almost like that old story of the little boy that cried wolf, right? There's only so many times that we can see one of these geopolitical risk events or something else hit the market, and the market not react like we think that it should. So I agree. It really comes down to, barring any catastrophic event, it really comes down to the talks with China. However, I would still be really cautious on the upside because even if we finally get past whatever this phase 1 thing is and we get a phase 2, 3, and 4 and we get a light at the end of the tunnel here, it really does not change the supply and demand calculation.
Yeah. Hey, any interest in the Widowmaker, Nat Gas? It's also been kind of stuck around 2.2 to 2.3. It's still the winter season. That means it's time to trade weather on Nat Gas.
1 year ago, almost to the day, this thing was double.
Yeah.
And it's not because of a 2-for-1 stock split or anything, right? It's just down here. And you're right, Widowmaker is a great term for this. It's hard not to want to buy into it here with the winter months coming up. But boy, oh boy, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take to get natural gas out of its own way.
Yeah. All right. $2.28 right now, up 3% on the day, down from almost $2.70 just a month ago. Scott Bauer, quick hit today on the energy front. Nice work, Mr. B. Appreciate it. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Thank you.